WrestleMania 32 next year? I've got no indication of it.
Or even notification. I mean, they may have to put you there in WrestleMania. They may have to put me in WrestleMania.
They'd have to put the two of us in at WrestleMania fighting J&J Security or something to make wrestling more interesting now. And they know that. That's why they take shots at people on the Internet. Why do they do that? I have no unearthly idea why.
Well, the Internet wrestling community has been made out to be the bad guy. To an extent, you know, it is true because it is the reality is it is the Internet wrestling community that really is listening to them. If you really think about it, we heard how great WWE is and how bad TNA was, just to compare the two. And this was at a time when TNA was actually putting on the better shows than WWE at the time. So I mean, TNA is definitely not doing that today. I'm going to be point blank about that. In fact, I got an estimation that TNA will be out of business come August.
I would imagine they will. There's the interesting thing about TNA is, Bob, there are a lot of stories being posted about them folding. And there was an article that I read there last week about, you know, the top 10 TNA talents that if TNA ever folded, you know, going to WWE, who would they be? And there were obvious choices in that article.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And I've talked about that too. Who would be the best talents from TNA to go to WWE? A lot of them people wouldn't agree with, and there's some that people would agree with. I will say this though, that WWE is definitely doing something right to have Samoa Joe on NXT and to hear that crowd leap for joy for Samoa Joe that we got to see in a WWE exclusive. I almost thought we'd see Samoa Joe back in TNA for a one night only deal like they did with Bully Ray.
The thing about TNA wrestling is you have so many incredible talents in TNA, and I know because I've spoken to a lot of them. You yourself have. We've spoken to everybody from Chris Harris to the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels. And the thing is, WWE have this problem where they bring in WCW alumni and TNA alumni, and they ruin them because of a grudge they have against them. What the fuck is going on with WWE? I don't understand it. You know, what the fuck is wrong with Triple H? What the fuck is wrong with Stephanie McMahon? What the fuck is wrong with Vince McMahon?
Whoa.
Senile now. What?
Oh, yeah, we got to change that around. We still got to be family friendly here, Mr. Clarke. And we do have one other person here that's going to talk with us too, and roller derby legend Chuck Skull is here with us here.
How you doing,
How are you,
guys?
Chuck?
Oh, I'm breathing in and out.
Man.
I'm
going off
I
on
have to
Triple H.
disagree with you on is it's great that they're firing lack of creative.
Yes.
As soon as they fire Heyman, they're on the right track.
Awesome. Yeah, Heyman.
3-minute attention span.
The reason why SmackDown was so good for years was because Heyman was there writing for it, and now it seems like Heyman has just lost sense of direction altogether.
Well, no, the thing is, Heyman has short attention span syndrome. Him, that clown Russo, both short attention span. Now, I've got a few years on both of you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember feuds lasting for years.
Oh,
Not
believe me,
weeks,
I do too.
Not minutes.
I remember it too. I mean, the Dusty Rhodes versus Kevin Sullivan was the ultimate long-term feud that went on. That went on forever, really. I mean, from 1982 to 1984, it was nothing but Kevin Sullivan and Dusty Rhodes. And
I'm talking Gorilla Monsoon and Haystacks Calhoun 4 years. 4 years.
Funny you bring up Haystack Calhoun, because the other day I was having a conversation with somebody about Haystack Calhoun. The Haystack Calhoun was his favorite. And the thing is about people, they'll always go back to Haystack Calhoun's and the Stan Hansons and reflect back on that because they know wrestling is never going to be the way that it was. Everybody brings up Haystack Calhoun or Andre the Giant still.
Yeah, well, for a reason. They had an impact that is unmatched. When Haystack Calhoun came in as the world's largest man as far as weight class goes. I mean, at that time, Gorilla Monsoon was ripped.
Yeah,
Mm.
he was. And then
And
what
God.
he became.
I was in Boston Gardens when I saw him lift Haystack and body slam him.
Oh, wow. Huh.
And the thing is about that, WWE never give these legends enough credit, and that's what pisses me off a lot. That's why I'm so
they have
irritated.
to push what's going on now. They can't push
I
what's
know
going
that.
on in the past. They have to push what's going on now to sell what they got now.
Yeah.
See, one thing about
And only for
Gorilla
that reason.
Oh,
Only
yeah,
for that
I hear
reason.
you there. Go ahead. I'm sorry, John. Go.
Only for that reason is all I have to say about that. I'm going to let Chuck go ahead there and finish what his train of thought.
The whole thing now is Triple H is doing a good job at what he does. I'm not the biggest Triple H fan in the world, but he's doing a good job. Cena, at least he puts asses in seats, and he gets a response out of people, and he's always there. And
He's
that is
always there.
the other guys are come and go, interchangeable nowadays.
One that I brought up was Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is one of the most popular superstars you have there now, and they're destroying him.
Injury. He's out through injury, and there's nothing that's nothing to do with backroom politics. This is a guy. Do I keep wrestling and live a good part of my life in a wheelchair, or do I walk away for a while?
Daniel Bryan has to come to a pivotal point, I think. He needs to make that decision. He needs to let us know what he's going to do.
He walked out to the ring last week, and he dropped the belt on the floor.
And the thing that makes me wonder is the uncertainty of my career. That's what I'm getting at here. He said the uncertainty of my career. Tell us at least in 3 or 4 months' time if you're coming back or you're going away for good.
He doesn't know. He doesn't
That's
know.
the
They're
thing.
still doing tests. So he did the only right thing as far as the business end of it goes, and he is in this as a business. Now, they're going to find other things for him to do. They're just figuring out what it is. Is he going to coach on Tough Enough? Is he going to be an on-air personality? Is he going to wrestle again? They'll find something for him. They're not going to turn their back on him. But as far as, like, championship runs when he came back and that, I mean, the novelty is worn off.
It's terrible. It's terrible because, I mean, the first reign of him as champion, that should have been ran with, but they couldn't run with it because of injury.
Right.
And now because
and that
they
goes
had to
back
throw
to
that out.
what he did to get there. What he did to his own body working in bingo halls or whatever, like CM Punk was doing, he was doing. All these guys that are coming up through NXT. They all work.
NXT is probably the best thing they have now if you actually pay attention to the
I watch
roster.
I watch it, and they got some good stuff going on.
Hmm.
The Owens kid, now that he's finally listened to him and dropped weight, because this is like his second run with the WWE. First time JR was still in charge, and JR told him, drop the goddamn weight. Quit looking like a slob when you come out.
Good old JR. I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for JR, and it's more than I can say for what I've thought about Michael Cole over the years. One minute Michael Cole is a fan favorite, the next minute he's shooting on the Hurts. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Michael Cole is fun, and he is head and shoulders way better than JBL at announcing.
Oh, Jesus. I'll give him credit there. I know from interviewing JBL, JBL was so overpowering.
Booker T is just sitting on the side as a yes man right now.
Yeah.
He's boring as hell.
And he just says like 2 or 3 words. JBL tells, the thing about Michael Cole is he gives the analogy that you got JBL. He tells a bit of a backstory about, working with the guy that's probably in the match. And Booker T is there just doing his hand gesture saying he's a 5-time champion because that's probably the only thing he remembers about his career.
That's the only thing anyone remembers about his career. Although just the other day I was watching Hawk and Animal kick the snot out of him.
Booker T didn't have very many career highlights. The only career highlight and the King Booker thing, that was probably the most entertaining thing that he did, and they never ran with it because...
Well, they ran as far as they could, but it was a dead gimmick.
No, it was totally dead.
King of the Ring has been a dead gimmick.
The latest arrest charge.
King of the Ring has been a dead gimmick since Jerry Lawler had his own foot in his mouth.
Oh, it's been dead. I'd say it's been dead since at least 97 or 98, at least. There's been the King Barrett thing that irritates me so much. It's not even funny.
Yeah, well,
Here
they
you
got to
have
do something with Barrett. Unfortunately, he's another one. He's in the same class as Daniel Bryan as far as always hurting himself.
Mhm.
The guy's a klutz.
See, this
He's
is why
great on a mic.
when I sign a Legends deal with WWE, I'm only wrestling at WrestleMania and SummerSlam, and I'm not wrestling nowhere else.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing with Sting, Vince wasn't going to let WCW win. Just not going to happen.
No.
No, that's
Apparently
true.
he's senile too now anyway. Vince is starting to get too senile, in my opinion. I know he still understands what he's doing, but it seems like he's developing Alzheimer's or senile cases.
To quote Jimmy
senile
Cornette, who is a guy I do respect in the business, there ain't nobody smarter than Vince in the business.
No. You go back 20, 30, even 40 years ago. I mean, Vince McMahon was the smartest individual in the world. I mean, he bought all the territories. He shut them down. He purchased Hulk Hogan from the AWA and redistributed him. He gave us The Rock.
When he bought
Stone
Hogan,
Cold
I was
Steve
working with Hogan on TV.
Austin.
I was on ESPN Slams and Jams, and it was an hour of AWA and an hour of IRDL.
And what was Hogan's reaction to that? Was Hogan excited to be bought by Vince, or was he?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. He's like, Hogan had his eyes open the whole time. Hogan says, like, here's the money. Yeah, Hogan's the guy that invented wrestling T-shirts. He's the
he's
only
the reason we
guy
have
under
John
Vince McMahon that does not get any of the royalty money taken out of him for T-shirts.
I'm still waiting on the Jonathan Clarke action figure. I haven't even got that yet.
Hey, I ain't even got my copy of my action figure from when I was doing roller games.
For a man who made wrestling famous on the internet, I should have my own action figure.
No, I was the lead villain